are going to discuss a paper by Madhav Gadgil and Ramchandar Guha. Gadgil and Guha have written a lot on social ecology, environmental movement in India. You will find several books, and if I remember it correctly, Ramchandar Guha has done his PhD on environmental history, and Guha has written on modern history, on Gandhi, on so many topics, and you know him very well. He is very popular writer, but not many people know this fact that Guha's earlier work was on environmental movement. Dr. Madhav Gadgil is professor of science for ecological sciences at Indian Institute of Science. So they all collaborated and wrote this article. In this article, Ramchandar Guha is talking about 4 ideological currents on environmental movements. 4 different school of thoughts which are reflecting on environmental movements. 4 different group of scholars who think on environmental issues very differently. Okay, so this is his classification. You should never think that there will be a group of crusading Gandhians. Okay, you cannot find them anywhere. This is his term. Okay, so basically this is the way scholars try to divide, create, classify new groups. So the first thing you have to keep in mind that it is ideal type. You will not find anybody there. Okay, you cannot go outside and say, okay, I want to meet the third group, appropriate technologist. Nobody will be calling himself or herself as appropriate technologist. Basically, he has made 4 groups, and by making these 4 groups, he is basically talking about how 4 types of people are looking at environmental issues. And why this is important: tomorrow you will become policy maker, and the way people would argue, politicians would argue, activists would argue, you should understand that why somebody is saying this fact, why somebody is opposing this, why somebody is supporting this policy. So basically it is somehow an intellectual history. Okay, it's an intellectual history of environmental science. So in the beginning of the paper, he is talking about how the environmental degradation, how the attack on natural resources are creating problem for a large number of people, because they were earlier dependent on nature for their survival. Once the forest were taken over by, let's say, government, or maybe they were handed over to, let's say, private players, their entry was banned and they were not able to take anything from the nature. So you have to think that that even to take water or even to take your cattle for grazing, you are not allowed. Okay, even you cannot sit, even you cannot sleep there. Somebody will say and you will be asked, go. But earlier we were all dependent on nature. And can you can you imagine, let's say this is nature. Do you have a scarcity for a stick, neem stick? But why it has been commercialized? So basically what is happening, that the degradation of the natural resources, depletion of the resources are also creating social conflict. And when you have to study those things, you have to have sociological angle also. In Rajasthan, if water scarcity is there, it will not only create problem for plants and for animals, it will also create fight among two communities. And if there is a scarcity of water, and if in the society, in a village, people are divided on caste line, so you understand that who is going to have more water and who is going to have less water. So there is also a sociological angle to a scarcity of resources also. There is of course scientific angle. Suppose if you go to a study water shortage in, let's say, Rajasthan, and I am also going there. So you are from science background. So you will study, okay, why water supply is less, there is a less rainfall, or maybe water is not properly kept after the rain, conservation policy is not good, okay. So you will think on that line. But if I take sociological imagination, I will be able to understand that, okay, in this village, earlier there were 5 and 6 major sources of water, let's say. Now it has been reduced to 2, and those 2 let's say water lake are being controlled by upper caste people. So lower caste people do not have, let's say, so easy access to have water. So there is a caste angle to this water shortage, and you have to look at that fact from sociological point of view. That is why you being scientist and I am being, let's say, student of social sciences, we can all work together. Because my way of looking at something will be very different from the way you look at. So Ramchandra Guha is saying that there is a problem, social conflict is going on, and he has said very interesting thing, that look at the contrast, that in posh areas you will have plenty of water, okay, and in slums you have very less access to water, okay. Municipality, the MCD will send vehicle, okay, and that vehicle will come 1 or 2, let's say, and then a whole locality will be fighting, okay, over water. So he has at one place he has said that look at the contrast. And another problem, another complex issues in India is that our population is not very homogeneous, okay. There is so much differences. People are from different background. For example, if people are living in, let's say, South Delhi, they have all the facility, okay. They have AC, they have car, they have good bungalow, they have park, they have everything. But at the same time, if you stop at red light and a boy comes to you, and or suppose if a girl comes to you and says that, Didi, please buy this rose, okay, or buy this pen, okay, and buy this toy or buy this book, you have to also keep in mind that from where that child has come, okay, where this child is sleeping, okay. So the child is spending whole day on red light, okay. Their parents, their families might be sleeping, let's say, below a flyover, okay. And who are those people? Maybe if you do a study, you will find that these people were once living in the area which were rich in natural resources, but somehow those resources were taken over by powerful sections of the society, and now they were rendered laborers. Okay, their lands were taken over by the powerful people, and then they were pushed to cities, okay, for doing very small job, maybe workers or domestic helps, or maybe selling something at red light. So you have to keep in mind that how things are happening, and how this tragedy is happening, that in Adivasi area, Adivasis are being displaced, okay, because of the environmental degradation, and they are forced to come to city. On the other hand, rich people are going and taking over resources in Adivasi area. So it is not one-way traffic, it is two-way traffic. If you go to Jharkhand and look at major industrial cities, you will find that in major industrial city, the dominance of non-Adivasi is seen and it is felt. Adivasis can be seen in large number only in hinterland. Okay. So these are the issues, major concerns with which Ramchandra Guha has started his paper, and you have to always keep in mind that differences in India are too much. So at one place he has said that, and I am quoting Ramchandra Guha, it is a society, India is a society which contains within its ranks a stone age hunter gatherers of the Andamans. So we have a stone age hunter gatherers in Andaman. Then we have a white collar babus in Delhi. Look at the difference. White collar babus living in Basant Kunj, where we are taking the class, and now in Andaman we have hunter and gatherers. Then nomadic shepherds of Himachal Pradesh, and then pavement dwellers of Calcutta. On the one hand we have pavement dwellers in Calcutta, and then we have shepherds in Himachal Pradesh. Then fisher folk in Tamil Nadu, then shifting cultivators in Mizoram, sugar baron in Maharashtra, textile mill owner in Coimbatore, software exporter in Bangalore, fuel wood head loaders in Kumayu, engineers drilling Bombay High for offshore oil. So you could look at the differences. Generally what happens that when policy makers, when they plan policy, they never keep in mind that India is a very complex society. Okay, so you have hunter gatherers, we have shepherds, we have babus, we have big engineers, and we have pavement dwellers, we have beggars, we have all kinds of the people, and these are somehow linked to natural resources and how they are being degraded by our environmental policies. So this is what he is talking about, and in this paper Ramchandra Guha has also said that after 1970s there were major let's say ecological movements, and then even the newspapers and media, they started writing about ecological and environmental movements, and he has said that these movements were inspired by these four kinds of trend. So the first he is talking about Gandhian model, okay, Gandhian way of looking at environment. Have you studied Gandhi's political thought? Have you studied? Do you know anything about Gandhi? How Gandhi looked at, how Gandhi has viewed this world? Can anybody say? Have you read something on Gandhi? Any, let's say, one page? What do you know about Gandhi? You have seen, of course, Gandhiji on our note, okay, on our currency. But beyond that, what do you know about Gandhiji? Anything? You want to say something on Gandhiji?
So his ideology was based on non-violence.
Okay, non-violence, very good. Okay, then non-violence is right. Okay, good. Okay, you want to add something?
Sir, he focuses on creating goods in our own country instead of importing.
Okay, so he is basically the person who believes that too much import, too much too much import should not happen. Okay, we should not buy things from the outside. Okay, right? You?
सर मैंने उनके वो पर्सनल डायरी वाला बुक पढ़ा था.
Okay, okay.
Experiments on Life.
Okay, very good, very good.
That made me question that why is he even the father of our nation?
Okay,
Yeah, so my thoughts with him are not very.
okay, 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 okay. So you want to say something on Gandhiji?
So he was a strong advocate of Satya and Ahimsa.
Okay, Satyagraha and Ahimsa. Okay, please. Gandhi thought something you maybe. Can you imagine what he has to say on environmental study, something like that?
Not only in environment perspective, as he already said, the soul of India is live in villages. And,
Villages, very good. Village community. Okay, right.
and I know that there's a movement called Indigo का एक movement हुआ
Yes,
था.
in Champaran, from the area. I belong to.
Yeah. So he just wanted to make the country self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Okay, very good point. Yes.
Yeah, they have to make their own clothes.
Okay, very good. Swadeshi. So I think now we have reached. Swadeshi, self-sufficient economy. Very good. Right. You have already answered 80% of what Ramchandra Gua is saying. You want to add say something?
Yes, sir. Based on his principles, basically, Panchayat Raj and village panchayats were made.
Okay. Panchayati Raj mein decentralization. Okay, very good. Yes. Prashant, you want to add something?
All these comments, and I will do that and put it nicely. I have read he was not in opposition of
He was for the caste system. Okay, right. He was for the caste system. Okay. Okay. So no. See, if you have to keep in mind Gandhiji's philosophy, I will be giving you the book. I think I have already shared with you Hind Swaraj. Hind Swaraj is a very small book which he wrote on ship in 909, some 110 years back. And this is very simple book, I am telling you. Please read it. Very simple. You take your dinner or maybe your lunch and then take a mug of coffee or tea and read it. You will like it. So, and this book is written in dialogical form. Dialogical form means that somebody is asking the question. Okay. And the person who is asking the question is a reader. Okay. So the reader is asking, Gandhiji, what do you have to say about Indian civilization? Gandhiji, what do you have to say about Western civilization? And then Gandhiji would be arguing. Okay. The question and answer form. So Gandhian thought is basically, Gandhi believes that the heart of India lies in village. The heart of India lies in village, and Gandhi has looked at Western civilization, machine, industrialization very critically. So there is a tendency that some people would say, oh, he was against machine. I know, he was against machine. But I would argue that this is not the proper way to summarize Gandhian thought. Gandhiji used to wear chashma, specs, okay. So this is also some kind of machine. Gandhiji used to carry watch. This is also a machine. So the Gandhiji was not against machine per se. Wheel is also a machine, mind you. Machine should not be only reduced to, okay, big factory. Machine we all use machine in our life. Okay, so the Gandhian understanding is not to reject machine. Anywhere there is a machine, reject it. In one way, our body is also some kind of machine also. Okay, the way our body functions. So Gandhiji basically is critical of machine in a way that this machine is not based on moral values. The way this machine is being operated, it is not based on morality and ethics. Machine, industrialization, Western civilization, these are being used, these are being organized for gains, for profits, for dominance by one section of people over another people. So the basically Gandhian method is he is bringing ethical question. He is not against machine. Our body is also some kind of machine also, na? The way heart pumps blood and the way things are being digested in some way. So it is very easy to say, oh, Gandhiji was against machine. No. Gandhiji has also criticized parliamentary democracy. But India has parliamentary democracy. So the Gandhiji is basically showing the limitation of parliamentary democracy or Western civilization, where the questions of ethics and morality are no longer there. So the Gandhian model is basically based on criticism of modern way of life. Ramchandra Guha has written rejection of modern way of life. Okay, but I do not agree that rejection is the appropriate word. It is criticism of the modern way of life, because if there is a modernity, if there is a modern way of life, you cannot really reject it. Okay, if I am criticizing science and if I am criticizing, let's say, scientific methods and technology, my argument is not that do away with science. My argument is how science is not properly used. So the basically Gandhian model is that Gandhi is criticizing Western and modern way of life, and he is looking at environmental degradation as a moral problem. Okay, he is looking at environmental degradation as a moral problem, and this is linked with his Swadeshi movement. That why we are dependent on things which are produced outside. Why our needs are all the time increasing. Okay, have you ever visited any Gandhian ashram? Visit it. In Gandhian ashram, if you go to any Gandhi's ashram, you will find self-sufficiency. People are also reading, also working also. So in Gandhian philosophy, the stress is also on labor. It's not only mental labor. Manual labor is also a stress. Safai, Swachhata, sanitation, these are also being stressed. Why it is being stressed? Because why somebody should come to clean your toilet? You understand? Why should you not work? So Gandhiji's idea is also there in education. Nai Talim. So what is this Nai Talim? Nai Talim, Gandhiji's idea of education is not that you come to class and you study and go. You have to also work. So the labor is also very central in Gandhian thought. You should not become parasite. The society should not be organized in such a way that we have one group of people who are only eating, okay, and another group of people are working all the time. So the Gandhian way of life is self-sufficiency, Swaraj, criticism of Western model, industrialization, and it's not rejection. Gandhiji is not saying that do away with modernity. What is my understanding? He is basically critical of modernity. Gandhian way of thought is also against consumerism. Okay, you understand what is consumerism? What is consumerism? You are right. We can define the mindset where we want to take more and more. Okay, our needs are unlimited. So he is also against consumerism and wasteful lifestyles. Gandhiji is also against wasteful lifestyles. So you could look at here, there is a chart given here. So the Gandhian model of environment would be highly decentralized polity, that is village republic. So Gandhian, you have already given the example Panchayati Raj system. So the Gandhian model will be self-sufficiency and decentralization. And Gandhi believes that power should be decentralized. Okay, people at the local level should take decision about their own policies. And he is preferring a small instead of big. And he is bringing moral question to the environmental issues. So you will find that in 1970s and 80s, a large number of people, they were influenced by Gandhian way of, let's say, Gandhian thinking, and they did lot of padayatra. Okay, they walked from one region to another region, highlighting what? Environmental issue. So Sundarlal Bahuguna was also one of the Gandhian environmentalists who championed the cause of environment. Okay, so if somebody is talking about protecting rights, protecting environment, if that person is believing in non-violence method, if that person is bringing moral question, if that person is criticizing consumerism, if that person is criticizing big industry, you should keep in mind that he is influenced by Gandhian thought. And I am telling you, Gandhian thought is very powerful. Anna Hazare, you know Anna Hazare? Anna Hazare was made very popular in India against corruptions movement. But there is also a history of Anna Hazare. You understand what is his history? I think Anna Hazare worked in army, okay, and in 1970s he left army. I don't know, he got retired or he took voluntary retirement, this I am not sure, and he came back to his village, and in his area there was water shortage. So he organized people, okay, and he developed some water conservation technique. He developed some water conservation technique, and slowly what has happened, that water was retained, the groundwater table, that level of groundwater increased, food production rose, and the village and the area was able to export foods also. So then he became very popular, Anna Hazare, and I think he was also given Padma Shri. Before I am talking about India against corruptions movement. So he joined India against corruptions movement and he got some following. It has also to do with his past also. You understand? When he was made the main figure, the poster boy of the India against corruptions, the organizer did not pick him without any thought. He already had some background, you understand? Water conservation, working at the community level, at the grassroots level, increasing food productions. So these people, the Gandhian, I am telling you, if you do research, if you do a study, you will encounter Gandhian environmentalists all through your life. They are doing all the time Padyatra. Sandeep Pandeyji, we had interaction with him. He is also influenced by Gandhian way of looking at environmental issue. And the way he has argued, if you could summarize his argument, what he said, he argued that big industries are not good for the people. Okay. He said that industry or machines should be used in such a way that it creates job. Okay. It gives right to people. People should not be excluded. Okay. We should also develop habit in such a way that we do not create so much waste. Okay, we should avoid consumerism. And he also asked you that make some plays in your life. Prashant, he asked you make some plays. Somebody is making a place that okay, from next year I will not use car. Somebody is making the place okay, I will not use AC. He was also talking about this. And he in the previous class he also said that apart from police, okay, and let's say hospital department, hospital, okay, and maybe some elderly people, private vehicles should not be allowed, public transport should be there. Okay, so these are all you could see this Gandhian, these are all Gandhian way of looking at environment. So now by the end of the class I will ask you that what do you think about Gandhian model, what is its strength and weakness. The second is Marxist. Okay, the second group is Marxist. So Marxist means it is coming out of the term Marx. Okay, so the Marx was a philosopher. Okay, in 19th century. He was a German. Okay, and he wrote books, Capital, and the Capital has studied modern capitalism. Okay, the Capital book has studied capitalism, and his basic argument is, Marx's basic argument is that it is the labor, it is the wages of the laborers which are being appropriated by those who own factories, those who own means of production, and that is how inequality is maintained. For example, I go to, let's say, in any company or any factory, I work, and maybe in whole day I work, let's say, for 5,000 rupees, but my salary is only 500 rupees. So 4,500 rupees is being taken by the owner of the factory, and this is how the owner is becoming rich and rich with the each passing day, and the worker is getting more poor, or maybe his condition is becoming worse. This is how Marx has argued. So in the Marxist understanding, social inequality is very important. Social inequality, the divide between rich and the poor, haves and haves not. So if you have to look at ecological issue from the Marxist point of view, can you guess how Marxists will look at environment? Can you guess? Can you guess? Suppose you are a Marxist and you have to argue, you have to, let's say, look at environmental issue, okay? And I have already told you that Marxist and Marx was very much concerned about social inequality, okay? Who is earning and who is only working, okay? And how everything has been turned into a commodity. You understand what is this commodity? Commodity means that everything is being produced not for use but for sale. This is universal in some sense. Let's say mobile is not being made with the prime focus that it will serve some purpose. The mobile phone is made, or maybe it is upgraded, a new version is coming only to capture the market. Okay, so then you have a model 1, the model 2, the model 3, the model 4, the model 10, the model 20. Every year you will find, and you have model 10 this year, and next year model 11 has come, and you become, oh my God, I don't have money, Papa give me money, this model 11 has got these features, my mobile phone is so slow, if you don't give money I will sell my blood, but I will take 11 model. So everything has been turned into commodity. So now I have given you a hint of Marxist way of looking at the thing. Now you tell me what a Marxist, suppose if you are a Marxist, how would you look at, let's say, environmental issue? Yes, yes.
So basically the Marxist way is about people having equal right and access to resources.
Yes, she is right. So the Marxist way of looking at environmental issues would be that who is controlling the resources and who is deprived of the resources. So in Gandhian way of thinking, moral question is very central. And here what is more central? Economic resources. Okay. Who is having access to forest and who is denied access. I will give you one example. In Chipko Andolan, we have discussed 2-3 classes back that in Chipko Andolan, what has happened that when local people went to take some woods, okay, some forest product, they were denied entry. Okay. On the other hand, when corporate and when commercial players, when they wanted to have access, they were allowed. And in this Amitabh Bhaviskar book, I have read somewhere in chapter 2, she has written, you know, that paper is made of bamboo, okay, and she has written at one places that the paper mill company, the paper mill is given bamboo at a very cheap rate. On the other hand, those who were making, let's say, baskets and may some other products, they were given bamboo at a very high rate. So CS, I can't find it here, but you will get it. That in this book, Amitabh Bhaviskar's book, in the belly of river, it is given that if you are a big mill owner, okay, and you are making paper and you are selling it, so if you need, let's say, bamboo, so government is supplying it, take it. And what is the rate? Let's assume 100 rupees per quintal, okay. And you are artisan, you need some bamboo to make, let's say, basket and something you want to sell it. So you have to buy it, let's say, assume 500 rupees per ton. So the big players are given at a much subsidized rate. On the other hand, what is happening? The small people, poor people, they are not having subsidized bamboo. So the argument is a Marxist will always look at the question that who is having access to resources. These are the main question. In Adivasi area, you will find, you might have seen in the newspaper that in Adivasi area, Marxist, okay, they have become very influential. You might be reading in the newspaper, some politicians will give a statement, or maybe some police officers will give the statement. Why Marxists are becoming very influential in Adivasi's area? Can you guess?
Because in Adivasi areas, people are improving and they're trying.
Yes, people sees right. In Adivasi area, what is happening? That resources are being controlled by the dominant sections, and that is why the local people, the Adivasi, the indigenous communities, their livelihood, their life is being attacked. So when this is attacked, then they felt alienated, and the let's say the leftists or the Marxists, they go there and what they do, they provide leadership, or maybe that they participate their movements, okay, and that is why they get legitimacy from them. So the Marxist will be, it is creation of economically just society, okay. Who is owning what, who is appropriating resources, and that is why Marxist and leftist parties are very much popular, you know where? In coal mines. Yes. In those areas, if you go to Jharkhand, there are some pockets where they are very powerful. Some studies has also come. And they are also looking at the questions of pollution, industrial pollution, and then degradation because of, let's say, mining. These are also being taken up ecological Marxists very seriously. Now, the third point. The third group is appropriate technologists. Okay. The third group is appropriate technologists. You will not find anywhere the appropriate technologists. Don't go for them. These appropriate technologists are those people who are trying to create a synthesis between modern and traditional, between machine and needs of the people. Okay, so it is basically talking about machine, and not only machine but the proper use of the machine. It is talking about how science can be used for the welfare of the people. So these groups are, according to Ramchandra Guha, is basically influenced by Western socialism, okay, and they are talking about using socially liberating technology. So for them, this group of the people, technology is not bad per se. Good use of technology is needed. So maybe that the kind of work which you are doing, you will fall under this group, I think. You maybe fall under this group, that we cannot discard this computer, okay, throw away this computer. It is not possible. Why can't we give computer to, let's say, the poor people, okay? Why can't the computer be made accessible to everybody? Why can't we have one computer, let's say, at one in one class? Why everybody should have separate computer? Because then we are creating waste. So basically it is not throwing away technology, but better use of the technology. Suppose if you have a car, why can't a community have a car in, let's say, in the locality? Don't throw away car, na? Have let's say, have a car, keep it in the, let's say, locality, and whosoever is sick, whosoever is needy, use it, okay, and then use, let's say, bus for, let's say, metro feeder bus, okay, metro feeder bus. So basically this group of people they are not against science, they are not against technology, but they should properly use technology. So the third group is basically talking about using technology in an appropriate way, and it is trying to create a synthesis, okay, between agriculture and industry, big and small, western and eastern. So it is not rejecting one for another, but it is accepting one, it is trying to create a synthesis between them. And it also believes that the constructive work should be done, and it is using technology for liberation. Let's use technology for liberation. So this is the third model. The fourth model is, the fourth group is wilderness enthusiasts. So these people are not, let's say Adivasi or indigenous people, or they do not come from the marginalized section. These people are basically those who are middle class, okay, those who are educated, those who are elite, and they have taken up protection of environment as their hobby, okay. So here Ramchandra Guha has given the example of which organization? WWF India. Do you know WWF India? After my graduation, I studied journalism and I started working as a journalist, okay, in Delhi. So one of my first assignments were WWF India. I went, and I think they organized a meet in India Habitat Center or India International Center, if I remember it correctly. And now I remember this group when I was reading this paper. Basically, Ramchandra Guha, before reading this paper, honestly speaking, I did not know about what is Worldwide Fund for Nature. So basically Ramchandra Guha has said that Worldwide Fund for Nature, yani WWF India chapter, is an environmental movement, and it was started by Western scholars like Thoreau, Thurow, in 1980, and he has said that protection of environment is predominantly an interest of upper middle class of the rich countries. So he has said that this is our responsibility, okay, to protect it, because only the rich and upper classes people from the rich countries can only protect it, and the poor countries and the poor individuals are not interested in environmental protection. So I do not agree with this view. Okay, I do not agree with this view. This is very elitist view. Okay, that only the rich people, only the educated people, only the upper class people, only elite people, only those people who are in the city, they can only protect. So this wilderness enthusiast is a group of people who are, let's say, middle class, educated, living in cities, big cities, and they have taken the responsibility of protecting the environment. And one of the key organization of these kind of people is WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, and it was started by scholars like Thoreau in 1980s. Okay, and his argument is that only rich country, middle class people are interested in protecting environment, poor people are not. I think this is not the correct idea, because in the class I have asked many Adivasi activists. Many Adivasi activists are coming and they will speak to you that how they have protected nature and how their way of life is very close to nature. So if they speak, you will find that this idea is not very correct. But I know this organization is very powerful. Why this is powerful? Because they are rich, they can influence, let's say, public opinion, and basically what is their focus? They basically want to protect parks, sanctuaries, natural forests from all kinds of the human activities. Okay, big mammals, they want to protect it. So basically their way of looking at environmental issues is that human activities, okay, it is a threat for the forest, for the natural resources, for the parks and other things. So it has created a lot of conflict also. You know that I have also participated in some seminars where some people would say no, this area should be protected, any kind of human intervention is not good. But the Adivasi people, let's say the people who are living there, they would argue, no, what kind of thing you are talking about? We have been living here for centuries. Okay, we have lived in the belly of, let's say, forest. Okay, and we have never destroyed anything. Our livelihood is basically dependent on them. Okay, so we should be allowed to go inside. Our activity is no way threatening and damaging it. Okay, by creating sanctuaries and park or reserve area, you are basically denying us from our livelihood. So this is also very interesting and very conflictual issues. Yes, you want to say?
So basically, whenever we are talking about human conflict arising near or around protected areas, there is a pattern which we can see, because whenever we are talking about displacing people from their own land, we see that pressure which is being created in that particular patch of area is happening because there is constant development and urbanization happening on the other side of that very same protected area. So instead of actually focusing on the place where development is happening, we end up coming to the areas where the people are somewhat backward, where they don't really have a lot of knowledge about what rights they have over their own property, over their own land. People who have been traditionally living there, practicing their right of, taking whatever they require from the forest. So we can see that वो जो ताना वाना एक चलता है एक ही ज़मीन को लेके, एक तरफ इस ज़मीन के मेरा डेवलपमेंट चल रहा है, बट जहाँ पे डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है वहाँ पे वी आर नॉट रियली फोकसिंग. Instead, we are wanting to extend the protected area towards the direction where things have been fine. So that is one thing which we can see around these conflicts that happen around protected areas.
You want to comment on Adma Lakshmi's view? Anybody? Prashant?
Why I think she's trying to highlight the differences between the haves and the have-nots. The system is skewed in such a way that we can't, even if we want to, we can't say no to the capitalistic model of development. And as she's saying, अगर एक तरफ मॉल बन रहा है उसको there is a very big chance कि उसको कोई कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, but at the same time in the name of protection आदिवासी को हटा दिया जाएगा.
Okay, so what Ramchandra Guha has said, Ramchandra Guha has created 4 groups of people. How 4 groups, major 4 trends are looking at environmental issues, and maybe that most of the people will fit into another. Okay, so never make a mistake that you go and ask, okay, are you wilderness enthusiast? Something like no. Oh, are you appropriate technologist? Are you ecological Marxist? Are you crusading Gandhian? We should not ask such question. It is called ideal type. Okay, ideal type means we create some model for our own understanding. So basically, in this paper, if you have forgotten everything, let me summarize in 2 minutes. Ramchandra Guha, suppose exam has come. Ramchandra Guha and Madhav Gadgil has written a paper towards a perspective on environmental movements in India. Okay, in this paper, basically Ramchandra Guha and Gadgil have said that natural resources are creating social conflicts because Indian society is very complex. We have all kinds of the people living here. We have hunter-gatherers, we have shepherds, we have babus, we have rich people, we have a pavement dwellers, we have the farmers, we have a landless laborers. All kinds of people are there, and everybody does not have the equal access to natural resources. So I always try to teach this paper from equity point of view. Okay, so basically Ramchandra Guha is saying that environmental issues is very conflictual and it is very complex, and in this paper he is providing you an intellectual history of, let's say, post-independence environmental movement in India, intellectual history since 1947. And in this paper he has said that in 1970s people started writing more about environmental issues. Okay, people started writing more, newspaper published more articles because there were several movements, and one of them, the major one, we understand, Chipko Andolan. And the Chipko movement was not restricted in only the region, but it had influence in other area also. What is this Chipko movement? Chipko movement means that local people were denied entry to forest products. On the other hand, the forest products were given to commercial players. So this has created anger and people protested, and in this protest you will find all kinds of the activists were participating. Some were looking at and organizing people through Gandhian model, some were organizing through, let's say, Marxist model also. So by talking about all these issues, he is basically saying that in India we may divide all those environmentalists in 4 kinds of group. One group would be Gandhian model. What is this Gandhian model? Gandhiji has said decentralized economy, Gram Swaraj, then Swadeshi, local, okay, self-sufficiency, no to consumerism, critique of Western civilization and Western way of life, okay, a critique of machine, big planning, heavy industry. So these people bring moral question to economy and planning. The second group is Marxist. The Marxists are basically looking at social inequality. Who is having resources and who is having no resources. So the Adivasis area, the landless laborers, they do not have access to natural resources. On the other hand, the commercial players, big industrialists, they go and they appropriate, they take everything. So basically the Marxist is not raising moral question, it is raising economic question. Haves and haves not. And in Marxist understanding, economically just society should be constructed, and for that we have to fight for the rights of those who do not have access to it. So the rights of people is very central in Marxist understanding. The third group is appropriate technologies. This group of people are those who are trying to have some synthesis between modern and traditional, technology and its ethical use, agriculture and industry. And this group is not throwing technology, okay, throw it out. No, it is saying use technology for better use. Use technology for, let's say, for the betterment of the people. So in one way, Sandeep Pandey is also influenced by this. He is of course Gandhian, okay, but I somehow, sometime I also feel that he is also not against technology, okay. He is saying, for example, he is for bicycle, okay. He is not for the car. So bicycle is also some kind of machine also, okay. So we have to, and I have also given the Gandhian example that Gandhiji was not against machine. If he were here, he would not throw away computer, okay. Oh, throw away computer, no. He would say that use computer for welfare of the people. If we need one computer for, let's say, 100 people can work, why everybody should have computer? And the fourth model is enthusiast, wilderness enthusiast. These group of people, basically they come from the middle class, from the rich background, and they basically argue that it is my responsibility to protect environment because poor people are not interested. And I have given you the example of WWF, which believes like this, and basically their main concern is protect parks, sanctuaries, natural forests, protect mammals, okay, and it is looking at all kinds of human activities negatively. On the other hand, my view is, let me also express my view is that human activities per se is not bad. I am telling you, human activities as far as the fulfillment of your needs are concerned, they are absolutely justified, because if you just take resources from the nature for your own need, nature is not going to die. It is only when we try to fulfill our greed that nature is degraded. That is why somebody has said, I don't remember the name, that Mother Earth can fulfill the needs of everybody, but not the greed of even a single person. And the second quotation, and then I'll stop, that if the affluent section of the Western Europe, if their lifestyle is to be followed by everybody in this world, then we need not one planet, two planets, but 3 planets. My request is that this is full paper. I have tried to give you main arguments. There may be many points which I might not have covered it. Please read it. It is very simple. And in the next class, read Hind Swaraj by Gandhi.